morning. This morning, I'm going to start with the talk, and then our meditation will follow. Initially, I had just planned to have the year-end meditation. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, there's no way we can have a 45-minute meditation and be online at the same time. So I decided to have a bit of an introduction this morning to meditation. Before I go any further, let me welcome you here this morning. It's very cold in Prescott. I woke up to 19 degrees. I thought, oh my God, how do you get up and get out? Well, what you do is you bring all your puppies outside. They're immune to cold weather. I swear, they were running back and forth in the yard and having the best time, and I'm thinking, oh, come on, aren't you ready to come back in the house yet? Oh, it's the difference between being a dog and a human. Anyway, so welcome. I'm glad you're here this morning. It's always wonderful to have an opportunity to share the teaching with others. So, the introduction this morning, I'm going to be talking about meditation and how meditation helps us make a breakthrough into the higher mind. The meditation that I'm talking about is the meditation that is part of the tradition of the Ageless Wisdom teaching. It's not a meditation that is popular to social media, popular to your local town, and so on and so forth. Local town meaning various groups in various localities have wonderful meditative experiences. But I'm not going to be talking about that this morning. I'm going to be talking about meditation according to the lineage of the Ageless Wisdom. So let me begin. First of all, what is meditation? Meditation is an effort to shift our consciousness from lower levels to higher levels of the mind. So I'm going to repeat myself so that you understand where I'm coming from with this introductory talk. Again, meditation is an effort to shift our consciousness from lower levels to the higher levels of the mind. That's the whole progressive purpose of meditation. Meditation in general starts at the fourth level. What is the fourth level? The fourth level is the fourth of 7 levels within the mental body, and it's understood as the concrete level of our mind, the concrete level of thinking. And for a long time, meditators stay at that level, and they feel that they are doing the right meditation. On the fourth level of our mind, of our mental body, is where we try to analyze things, where we compare things. Just think about this. For those of you that are taking meditation courses and you're having to write that wonderful paper at the end of each lesson, and you say, well, you know, I can relate to this because back then, that's when you know you are functioning on that fourth level of the mental body. It's when you analyze things, when you're comparing this to that, and when you are trying to follow and find the qualities and relationships of the seed thought that you are meditating upon. But, and this isn't important, but after a while, if we do not climb to the next level of the mind, your thinking becomes mechanical. your thinking becomes self-centered. Your thinking may even become boring. And slowly you begin to stop your meditation. Think about it. Just think about this. If you used to be engaged in a meditation course and you started out with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement and, wow, this is it, kind of feeling, and then 3 or 4 or 5 years later, man, this is the same thing. I'm so bored. I can't think anything more about beauty. I don't have anything more to say or to write about harmony or righteousness or freedom or harmlessness. Just these are some of the basic virtues, that you start a meditation course with. So I just can't think of anything else, and pretty soon you've just kind of faded away and you're no longer engaged in the meditation course. This is why. It's because you have stayed on that 4th level of the mental body, that mental plane where the concrete mind resides. But it is not easy to make a breakthrough into the next level of the mind. The next level of the mind is the 3rd level. So we're going from 7 to 1. So we have from 7, 6, 5, 4. 4 is the middle level. Now we're trying to make a breakthrough into that 3rd level of the mind, and it is not easy. This is where the 3rd level is where we come in contact with the world of meaning and the essence of things that we are meditating upon. So that's what happens when the light of our consciousness moves from the 4th level to the 3rd. Now we come in contact with the meaning and the essence of, let's say, beauty, the essence of harmlessness, the essence of freedom. Our concrete mind, in a sense, ties us to worldly interests. You feel that if you enter into the abstract level of consciousness, the abstract mind, that 3rd level of the mental plane, that you're going to lose your self-interest, your sense of who you are. You're afraid that you're going to lose factuality, that you're going to lose contact with the concrete world. There is also resistance from the 3rd level of the mind because it is a sphere of higher frequency. We're not used to that sphere. We're not used to that higher frequency. So when we're not used to something, when we are introduced to something of this nature, oftentimes you're going to find yourself with resistance. And that resistance is fear. That fear is the result of the unknown. And we prefer sameness, S-A-M-E-N-E-S-S, sameness, as opposed to something new, mysterious, abstract. When we make contact with this 3rd level, this sphere of higher frequency, the speed is faster. In other words, your meditation, your thinking, your experiences in the subjective, in the abstract world becomes faster, and forms are intangible. The forms on this level of consciousness are intangible in mind of logic. So you see the contradiction where we're coming in through logic, and the abstract level is faster and is formless. So many people quit meditating when they feel that resistance. One of my spiritual teachers used to tell me that it is very difficult to cross into the third level of mind because of strong winds blowing across the bridge leading to the third level. I finally figured out or discovered that these winds are streams of energy coming from our chalice. Or there may be fiery waves testing the worthiness of the practitioner that is trying to cross that bridge between the fourth and the third. Fiery waves testing the worthiness of the meditation practitioner who is trying to penetrate into these higher worlds. This is a clue that you're going to be tested. What are you going to be tested about? We don't know because each person is different. Such an event is one that I've observed also when a person is in their final stages of their life. If you persist in your meditation, sooner or later, you will make a breakthrough and penetrate the world of meaning and vision and cause. When you penetrate into the higher mind or higher, when a person is making their transition, it doesn't mean through that experience that I just explained that they're moving into the third level of the mind. But there's a resistance to move into the unknown, into what is mysterious. And so they are tested, their whole faith, their whole being, their whole karma, how can I say it? It's the momentary condensation of the entirety of their most important incarnations they are experiencing at that moment that they are moving out of their body. And this can take place within an hour from beginning to end, or over a few periods, a few days, 2 or 3 days. What is happening is their spirit is trying to leave the body, moving into a state of formlessness. And I think we've certainly experienced the passing of our family, friends, and so forth. And if you've been with them, you will recognize that experience that they talk about, that they are fearful about. And it is because of moving from form into formlessness. So the reason I wanted to bring this into the introductory talk this morning is so that you have something to relate to. When you've had healthy experiences of going out of your body, the first time you do, it's alarming because you're moving from the state of form to the state of formlessness. We're so anchored in form. To move out of form into formlessness will cause an immediate resistance because we want to be the same and not go into something that we don't know anything about. So this is what happens in meditation when we're moving from the fourth level of mind into the third level of mind, the third level of the mental plane. Our consciousness must penetrate into still higher levels of the mind until the highest level is achieved. It is here that an advanced initiate will drop the anchor of their consciousness and make it a base of operation for striving. Now it is the station that they have moved to that creates the point of striving for the rest of their incarnations. And that's beyond the third level of the mind. third level of consciousness. Now, this is an important point. If you're making notes, make this note, and I'll speak slowly. But being able to focus your consciousness on the highest level of the mental plane will not lead them to a state of abstraction. I'm going to repeat this. When you focus your consciousness on the highest level of the mental plane, it will not lead you into a state of abstraction. And why not? Through meditation, the network of communication, a network of communication is established between your abstract mind and your lower mind. It's called continuity of consciousness. So you're not abstract, you're more whole, more complete. Once this happens, then you can, at will, use both parts of your mind to achieve balance. This is vital to your meditative progress. It's what keeps you sane, it's what keeps you whole, it's what increases the light of your mind and of greater service to humanity. You will use the lower mind to contact the world of concrete values. See, now you're going to use it. It's not using you. It's not controlling you. You are going to use the lower mind to contact the world of concrete values, of problems, and the needs of the world. And use the higher mind. See how it's working together, that network of communication? You're going to be using the higher mind to shed light and love and beauty upon the lower worlds to meet its problems. This is what makes you a world server. When your communication network is complete, the whole mental plane now works as a unit. Those 7 planes of consciousness now work as a unit, the higher and the lower. Meditation helps you to unify your mind and to build the communication network so that later, when your human soul passes into the spiritual triad, it can use the mental mechanism for its creative work, its field of activity, its field of service. Now the soul is functioning in the Buddhic plane of consciousness and part of the Atmic plane of consciousness, and now its field of creativity and service is the mental body, the whole mental body, the whole mental mechanism. So what is creative work? What is creativity? It is the ability to contact ideas, inspirations, visions. It's the ability to contact ideas, inspirations, visions, and impressions that are in the spiritual triad. And then what? Once this contact is made, now you can formulate these ideas and inspirations and vision and impressions into colors of beauty within your mental body and express them through words, through formulas, through colors and motions and form. What happens when you penetrate into the abstract levels of the mind? You begin to demonstrate pure idealism while manifesting practicality. Idealism while you are manifesting everything practical within your relationships and within your day-to-day service. So you're in the world, but not of the world. The world of values and the world of practical concrete forms becomes one world. And this is what makes you a true leader. The practical life becomes chaotic if the light of the abstract worlds does not illuminate it. And I want to repeat this because it's so valuable. It's a valuable instruction. The practical life becomes chaotic if the light of abstract worlds does not illuminate it. When a person is trapped in the higher worlds without being in clear contact with the lower worlds, when a person is trapped, listen to this, when they are trapped in the higher world is when they are not in clear contact with the lower world, and they become a useless dreamer. A useless dreamer. They've lost their visions. It is important to know that the communication network built between your mental levels is not one kind of network. I don't want to lose you in this, but it's so important. You know, if you don't understand it, if this is over your head, then get the video. It will be put up on YouTube later on today, and you can listen to it and take better notes and listen to it and learn more. And it will absorb. And then you'll understand. So the communication network built between your mental levels is not one kind of network. This network generally is built with mental substance, but in that substance, there can exist strands of varying rays, ray energies, first ray, second ray, third ray, and so on. As the network approaches completion, now it becomes a rainbow with the energies of all 7 rays. The perfected rainbow is a transmitter of ray energies and related zodiacal energies. So you see how all 3 go together. This is why in the teachings they say you can use any ray. The substance, the energy of any ray. And this is why and how. We are building a network of communication. Meditation lays the foundation for the building of the rainbow and carries on its construction to completion. The deeper, the more persistent is your meditation. The deeper you go in consciousness during your meditation, the more persistent then is your meditation. The more soundly your rainbow is built. Communication lines increase year after year, life after life, until the mental plane is a unified field of energy and turns into a central station of contact. I wish I were an artist because I can see these images. It's so incredibly beautiful and wonderful and intriguing and exciting, but alas, I'm not. So it stays in these images, but it is also energizing. So meditation builds specialized centers in the mental body and also builds and programs specialized groups of neurons in the brain. The more evolved your brain, the greater is its capacity to manifest accurately higher currents coming from the mental centers. Now, I'm not talking about IQ. I'm not talking about only those who have PhDs can have these experiences. It has nothing to do with IQ, nothing to do with the degree after your name. It has to do with that meditation that mental mechanism, that network. Meditation builds specialized centers in the mental body and builds and programs specialized groups of neurons in the brain. Meditation, which helps the brain organize and fuse closer to the mental body, actually prepares a healthy future for the person. Because it is the brain that manages the health of the body, listen to this, because it is the brain that manages the health of the body, the more organized your brain, the greater the possibility of survival. Now, the next point I'm going to tell is going to blow your mind, and then we're going to move into our end of year meditation. Meditation in building the rainbow bridge between the body, emotions, mental body, and spiritual triad gives us an opportunity to bring forth recordings stored in deeper and higher sources, which can then change the contents of our genes and our DNA. See, for you to say, look, I got bored with meditation, I don't need meditation anymore. Wow, what a lost opportunity. Meditation in building this rainbow bridge of communication between our body, emotions, mental body, and the spiritual triad gives us an opportunity to bring forth recordings stored in deeper and higher sources, which can then change the contents of our genes and DNA. And I really would love to tell you more about this, and maybe I can at some point. What I can say at this point is that this has an effect on your next incarnation, how you're incarnated, what part of the planet you're incarnated into, and the family that you are incarnated into. It's very interesting to see how this process affects your incarnations. This change, the teaching reveals, is caused by energy currents, visualizations, and creative imagination. It will one day be possible to form a body that will live as long as one wants. By revitalizing the cells, the neurons, the genes, and DNA with advanced meditation. Meditation of this caliber even attacks viruses and microbes and germs with the laser light of the human soul. A human soul advances like any cell or neuron through specializing himself, the soul, through specializing himself, the ray, by specializing himself so that he is suitable for greater and greater labor. A human soul can be a petal in an ashramic flower. It can be an atom in the chalice of a greater entity. Specialization in the esoteric sense means to meet the demands and characteristics of your monadic ray. The process of specialization is carried on through meditation. It is through meditation specialized cells and neurons are trained and drawn to their right location. See, so don't give up in your meditation. Push through it. Push through that fourth level of concrete thinking and analyzing and comparing. Break through that resistance and go into the formless level, the third level of the mind. It is through meditation specialized cells and neurons are trained and drawn to their right locations. It is through meditation your human soul is specialized and drawn to the location where it will be of greatest service. So someday I'll talk more about this, but for now, let's have our meditation. Did you know what I shared in the talk this morning? Are you already aware of these things? Is anybody? No, okay. Good. I actually gave you something you don't already know. Excuse me. Okay, end of year meditation. We're going to focus our consciousness in the Ajna center. So let's close our eyes, and we're going to sound 3 ohms. Each ohm for the physical, emotional, and mental bodies, while we are focused in the Ajna center. Align yourself with the higher self. And now let's repeat this soul mantra. I am the soul. I am the soul. I am light divine. I am light divine. I am love. I am love. I am will. I am will. I am fixed design. I am fixed design. In detachment, review the year, looking particularly for those points where you did not either take advantage of or maximize the presented service opportunities. Review the year, looking particularly at those points where you did not either take advantage or maximize the presented service opportunities. Try to determine what attitude, weakness, or old habit in that physical, emotional, or mental body was the source of this interference to the expression of your higher self. Now hold a moment of silence. And let us say together, on the altar of group love and service, on the altar of group love and service, we release these impediments. We release these impediments so that we may be of greater service, so that we may be of greater service to humanity and to hierarchy, to humanity and to hierarchy. With loving intent, and through the magical power, of the higher self, we do hereby release the group collective impediments, releasing and making each and all available for service to the group work. And let us sound one Om. Recognition of group. With your eyes closed, visualize your co-workers who make up this serving group. Send a stream of goodwill and loving regard to each disciple. Visualize your co-workers who make up this serving group and send a stream of goodwill and loving energy to each disciple. Now, as a united group and by an act of the will and using our creative imagination, we will cross the group Santa Karana Bridge into the light of the second ray ashram. As a united group and by an act of the will, using our creative imagination, we will cross the group Santa Karana Bridge into the light of the second ray ashram. Here we realize and honor the presence of the Master. Let us now merge with the consciousness of the Christ, who stands within a triangle formed by the Buddha, the Master Kutumi, and the Christ at the heart of the hierarchy. Let us merge with the consciousness of the Christ, who stands within a triangle formed by the Buddha, the Master KH, and the Christ at the heart of the hierarchy. We assert the fact of our identification with the hierarchy. Let us say this together. We assert the fact. We assert the fact of our identification with the hierarchy. With the hierarchy. In the presence of the masters, we follow the hierarchical antakarana into the center called Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known. Hold this alignment as we invoke new energies into the space we have created through our release of the old and outworn. And hold a moment of silence. And now, gently bring the invoked insights and understandings into the group's chalice. Gently bring the invoked insights and understandings into the group chalice. Very carefully, with patience and consideration, formulate for the group and for yourself what you see as the next step in the process of manifestation for the vision for yourself and the group that will unfold in the coming cycle. And now refocus yourself, your consciousness, in the heart of the ashram. Refocus yourself, your consciousness, in the heart of the ashram. And repeat after me. In the center of all love we stand. In the center of all love we stand. From that center we, the soul will outward move. The soul will outward move. From that center we, the one who serves will work. The one who serves will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad. In our heart, through our group, and throughout the world, as one group self, from our position within the circle of the ashram, see the energy of the masters and the lords of Shambhala flowing along with our love and light into the world, and then into the very core of the planet, radiating and uplifting the substance of our planet. Now focus the love and light of the hierarchy and the power of Shambhala into the community. Our community, your community. Bringing light, love, and power into play. See the love flowing beyond national shores, circling the globe and bringing new hope and new life to the peoples and all beings of the world. And let us sound the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, Let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.